Hi everyone, welcome to back the channel Auto Rush Shore. Here's a 3,000 word, 18-minute YouTube video script about the 2025 TOS-1 Russian heavy flamethrower system written for your YouTube channel, Rev Ride. It's structured for smooth narration flow, no host name or visuals, just continuous informative storytelling in cinematic style, perfect for a deep dive military video. The battlefield of the 21st century is changing faster than ever before. Drones dominate the skies, electronic warfare pulses across invisible frequencies, and yet, there's still something deeply primal about fire. Among all modern weapons, few inspire such raw fear as the TOS-1, a Russian heavy flamethrower system capable of turning entire grid squares into oceans of fire. In 2025, the TOS-1 has evolved again, smarter, deadlier, and more precise than ever before. This is not just a weapon of destruction. It's a psychological tool, a modern descendant of the ancient fire catapult, and a clear statement of Russia's battlefield philosophy: control the area, crush the enemy's spirit, and leave nothing standing. Let's go deep into the inferno, the 2025 TOS-1, the modern flamethrower tank of fire and fury. The name itself, TOS-1, stands for Tyazyolaya Ognemetnaya Sistema, or Heavy Flamethrower System. It was never a flamethrower in the traditional sense, like those carried by soldiers in World War II. Instead, it's a rocket artillery system mounted on a tank chassis, launching thermobaric rockets, weapons that kill not by fragments but by overpressure and heat. The original TOS-1 was designed back in the late 1970s by the Soviet Union, and it entered service in the 1980s. Built on the chassis of the T-72 tank, it carried a 30-barrel launcher capable of firing 220mm rockets. Its nickname, Buratino, came from the Russian version of Pinocchio, because of the system's long, protruding launcher nose. But there's nothing playful about it. When the TOS-1 fired, the battlefield would erupt into a wall of fire, consuming oxygen, producing temperatures over 2,000 degrees Celsius, and vaporizing everything within hundreds of meters. It was used in Afghanistan, Chechnya, Syria, and Iraq, each time leaving behind landscapes that looked like scenes from another planet. But the world has changed. By 2025, the Russian defense industry has refined the TOS concept into something faster, more integrated, and digitally networked: the TOS-1A, Solntsepyok, and the newest TOS-2 inches Tosochka systems. The TOS-1A improved upon the original with better range, up to 6 kilometers, and more precise targeting. However, it still relied on the T-72 chassis, making it heavy and less flexible in modern mobile warfare. Then came the TOS-2, unveiled in recent years and now forming the backbone of Russia's thermobaric rocket forces by 2025. Unlike its predecessors, the TOS-2 is mounted on a wheeled 6x6 chassis, often the Ural 63706 platform, giving it greater mobility, lower weight, and faster deployment on roads and rough terrain. Its range has been expanded up to 10 kilometers, keeping it farther from the front line, reducing vulnerability to counter battery fire and drones. It also carries its own loading crane, removing the need for a separate reloading vehicle, a significant improvement in battlefield autonomy. Thermobaric weapons like those fired by the TOS-1 work on a terrifyingly efficient principle. Each rocket contains a fuel-air explosive mixture. When fired, the rocket releases a cloud of this aerosolized fuel, spreading it through the air. Then, a secondary charge detonates the cloud, consuming oxygen and producing an immense explosion. Unlike conventional warheads that rely on fragmentation, thermobaric blasts crush and burn through pressure and heat. The result is catastrophic for anyone inside buildings, bunkers, trenches, or vehicles. Even those who survive the initial blast often suffer from ruptured lungs or severe burns caused by the sudden vacuum and searing temperature. The weapon is so effective in enclosed spaces that it's often called an urban siege system, perfect for eliminating fortified positions or underground hideouts. In short, it's not just a weapon, it's a method of area denial, psychological warfare, and devastation. Now, let's explore what's new for 2025. In 2025, the TOS-1 fleet has undergone several modernization phases, including upgraded targeting systems, satellite-based fire coordination, and integration with Russian drone reconnaissance units. The TOS units are now networked through the Unified Tactical Control System, allowing them to receive coordinates directly from Orlan-10 drones or ground reconnaissance teams. This digital network allows for rapid, sensor-to-shooter, Connections, meaning the time between spotting a target and unleashing thermobaric rockets can be reduced to minutes, or even seconds. The TOS-2, being lighter, is also easier to transport and conceal. Its modular launch pods can be swapped quickly, and it can operate in extreme temperatures, from the frozen tundra to the scorching deserts of the Middle East. The TOS-1's firepower is unmatched in its class. Each launcher carries between 18 and 24 rockets, each with a warhead weighing about 90 kilograms. A full salvo from a TOS battery, usually 3 vehicles, can obliterate a 200 times 400 meter area in less than 15 seconds. That's nearly 4 football fields engulfed in flame and overpressure. The rockets come in several types: high explosive, fuel air, and specialized thermobaric variants designed to maximize temperature and pressure. The 2025 versions feature improved stabilization, longer range, and smart fuse technology, allowing better control over the detonation timing. Some reports suggest that the newest generation may even include guided thermobaric rockets, using GLONASS navigation to strike precise coordinates, though official details remain classified. Let's talk about deployment tactics. In the Russian military structure, TOS-1 units belong to the radiation, chemical, and biological defense troops, not to standard artillery. That's because they're technically flamethrower systems. Their missions typically involve clearing fortified enemy positions, destroying defensive lines, or supporting infantry assaults in close quarters. The usual battle sequence starts with drone reconnaissance, mapping enemy positions and identifying strongholds. Then, artillery or missile units may soften the area. Finally, TOS-1 systems roll in, unleashing thermobaric salvos that erase what remains of enemy cover. The psychological effect is immense. Videos from past conflicts show enemy forces abandoning positions or surrendering outright after witnessing a single TOS strike. There's simply no defense strong enough to survive a direct hit. But in modern warfare, survivability and precision matter as much as raw firepower. That's why 2025 versions emphasize mobility, automation, and integration. The TOS-2's electronic control system includes an advanced ballistic computer, automated aiming system, and digital map integration. Its crew can set up and fire in under 90 seconds, then immediately relocate, minimizing exposure to counter-battery fire. Thermal imaging and laser rangefinders improve accuracy during day and night operations. The launcher cabin is fully armored and equipped with NBC nuclear, biological, chemical protection, keeping the crew safe even in contaminated zones. The crew itself is usually just 3 people: commander, driver, and gunner. Their coordination is critical, especially when working within mixed formations that include tanks, drones, and artillery. The psychological dimension of the TOS-1 can't be overstated. Soldiers who've witnessed its use describe the sound as apocalyptic: a deep rumble followed by rolling thunder, then an expanding wall of orange fire. The blast consumes air, leaving victims disoriented and gasping. In Chechnya and Syria, the system was nicknamed the Blazing Sun, Solntsepyok, not only because of its code name but because the explosions light up the battlefield like the surface of the sun. For the Russian military, it's both a tactical and symbolic weapon, representing the power to annihilate resistance completely. By 2025, new versions are also being exported. Countries such as Iraq, Kazakhstan, and Armenia have used earlier TOS-1A models. Rumors suggest interest from Middle Eastern and Asian nations seeking heavy firepower options for urban or mountain warfare. Russia's State Defense Export Agency, Rosoboronexport, has promoted the system as a territory cleaner, a weapon for eliminating entrenched forces in complex terrain where conventional artillery struggles. But such marketing raises questions. The use of thermobaric weapons remains controversial. Human rights organizations have repeatedly called for limits on their use, especially in populated areas, due to the extreme suffering they cause. International law doesn't explicitly ban thermobarics, but using them against civilians could violate the laws of armed conflict. That dual nature, effectiveness versus ethical limits,